This episode of Bonfireside Chat is brought to you by Pete Ellison from HeyIt'sPete.com, who is a DJ and artist and t-shirt producer who has a very cool Kickstarter running right now.
Yes, this is a Kickstarter with very cute, very awesome, bold, colorful designs that he is going to be screen printing himself in his Portland studio.
Yeah. I know Pete. He's an awesome dude. If you visited Watch Out for Fireballs last year at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, you probably saw his booth. It is visually striking. His art is super adorable. A lot of times kind of video game crossover stuff, not always, however. And it's really cool. And his t-shirt designs are really great. And, about the time you're listening to this, there's about a week or so left to check out his Kickstarter. So I recommend doing that. You can also listen to his, he's got a DJ show called Pump It, which streams on 91.8 The Fan, which is an online streaming radio station.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at a t-shirt that has an octopus princess with a ray gun.
Yeah,
on it.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff, and like super thick. Like everything is pleasingly chubby, which I like. Like everything just looks like real. I don't know, super cute. Mm-hmm. So definitely worth checking out, and he's a good dude, worth supporting his Kickstarter, so you should head on over there. We have this very long unwieldy Kickstarter link, but you should just go to his website to link to it, which is www.heyitspete.com. You can also find him on Twitter to find more information about it, which is twitter.com/Pete has a beard, and boy does he. So
yeah.
This isn't some kind of beard solidarity move. Like, that is not why we're doing this. Even though when I first met him, he did give me a button that said Cool Beard Club. And it's got a picture of a beard. So,
yeah.
And you can probably get that button from him at that website.
Yeah, or at that website, yeah.
Yeah.
So check out his Kickstarter and put some cute on your body.
Absolutely.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name's Kole Ross.
And my name is Jay Kartje.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat. It is a Cursed favorite.
And this week we are talking about the Shaded Woods and also the Shaded Ruins, this whole conglomerated massive area that lies behind the lady statue over yonder. And as you heard, we're joined by Jay, who, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the community manager at Namco Bandai. Is that correct?
Bandai Namco.
Bandai
yes,
Namco.
That is
okay.
correct.
Whoops.
It's all right.
It sounds like if you get mad at one parent, you could just say, okay, Namco Bandai. Jay.
Did you hear that mistake I made?
Jay, thank you so much for joining us on this. I wanted to get you on the show. I noticed on Twitter, a lot of the community and YouTubers and such were following you and retweeting you, and I could kind of tell that this, more than your job, you're a fan of the game. So it seemed like a good fit.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I'm probably more involved in Dark Souls because it's one of our bigger titles, but also because I was a fan before I started working there. And It was fun to get in touch with all the community leaders and do some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. No, it's going to be great to talk to somebody who's kind of on the other side of the community, if we can consider ourselves to be part of it. That's really weird to say, like, what's happening here? But
yeah. So, what did we do last time, Cole?
Well, last time we plumbed the depths of the gutter and Black Gulch, which sounds grosser than I meant it to sound when I wrote that. But we killed the Rotten and we claimed another old one's soul, making it 2 now, I believe. Now, with our fragrant branch of yore in hand, we're going to check out that weird statue in Majula and find our kind of last spoke that leads off of that area, or at least for this part of the game.
Also, when I first reached out to you, Jay, and kind of let you know what areas we were still looking for people, I know that you mentioned this one particularly. Like, is there any reason why this is a particular favorite area for you, or have any kind of special resonance?
This is one of my favorite, use the word spokes out of Majula. It always when I was first playing through the game, I mean, everyone has their own way to go through it now, and everyone knows like what the quote unquote right way to progress through. But when I first got to this area, it was the most mysterious. Like, what's happening here? There's so many different directions to go. Should I be here now? Should I wait till later? I think that's why I liked it the most. It kind of invoked the most mysteriousness for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. The mystery resonates for that too, and I'm always looking for points of comparison between Dark Souls 1 and this and Demon Souls, looking for anything that might be new or novel or a different take on things, and just kind of the general color palette and layout of this place isn't really something I've seen in the series before. Kind of this autumnal, kind of gray, washed out. Foggy kind of thing, and also something kind of this horizontal, right? You're covering a lot of mileage. There's a lot of as the crow flies distance over this, and a lot of it's pretty narrow, and everything is just kind of set up to take you by surprise, right?
Yeah, I think also that sense of mystery is really heightened by the way that you get to this area, because you can come here right out of Majula, but you are going to run straight into a living statue wall. Around some enemies that you're not, necessarily ill-equipped to take. Like these goblin, I think is what they're actually called. These strange gut
They have
creatures.
The ultra panis.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, there's a Kids in the Hall sketch about gut depth?
Yeah.
Where these guys are talking about their gut depth. That's what these guys look like to me. Just like Marks McKinney with gigantic, half-deflated, gut numbers just rolling on their trouser front.
Yeah.
And that
are hitting you with poison ribcage hammers.
Yeah.
Their attacks are really tough, really annoying to get hit with.
Yeah. It just, and especially, poison is such a big deal in this game too. Like if anything is going to signal you to come back later, it could possibly be that.
Yeah.
When you first get here, other than, the statue lady.
Yeah. Well, also, like when you first come here, this can potentially be one among the handful of the first enemies that you encounter in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're taking that path off to the left, okay, here's a guy who's talking about a statue and he's got the moonlight sword. Great, cool. Let me open this door and then just get smashed.
Yeah.
Probably before I even find the Emerald Herald.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, it's entirely my fault, but...
Yeah. Well, one of the things, too, is I love that right on the other side of this door, so even before you unfreeze Rosabeth, you can hear the basilisks
Yep.
in the other room, which is like, man, is that a wonderful kind of subconscious Pavlovian response? Like, when you play Dark Souls 1, like, oh, man, you know.
And that's kind of an introduction to how important sound is in this entire spoke, too. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, like, really, really pay attention and tune into that frequency there. Yeah. So there's not really much to say about Benhart, who's kind of the guy. I guess I would call him the Siegfried of this game. Sigmire. Sigmire. There we go. Yeah. Siglunds. Yeah. So Sigmire of this game. In that I can't really figure out what his path is, and he always kind of seems to always be haplessly sitting next to something.
One of the interesting things was we had a press event really early on. We first got a decent build of the game to show, and we invited a bunch of press, but I also invited a bunch of community guys, whoever was kind of local to the Bay Area, to come out and check out the game. And they had like an hour or so with this like first couple hours of the game. And so all these guys jumped in there and they're digging it. They're killing everybody they can. They're running everywhere they can. They're trying to figure out trying to extract as much info as possible from this build. And all of them eventually found Benhart, and then some people killed him, and then they read the description of his sword and were so confused, wanted to know all the information. And at that time, I have no idea. Like, we just got a build. I have no idea what the lore is or what's going on. But that was pretty funny when everybody first kind of saw his sword and what that was all about.
Yeah, because it's so iconic. Like, it's iconic of a lot of From's work, Yeah. It shows up in everything, and to see it...
Even Armored Core.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to just have it pop up, and be like, okay, I know from playing Dark Souls 1 that if I'm just, persistent enough, I can take this guy down and possibly have one of the best swords in the series right away. Well, it's really tempting.
Well, that's the joke, though.
Well, yeah.
You know, is that
yes, I'm aware that is the
yeah,
joke.
which is so good.
Tempting into ... Well, shit.
Yeah, like I find like that little aspect to be one of the big kind of exhibits of evidence that Dark Souls 2 has such a more pronounced sense of humor than the first one. You know, like there are a couple willfully subversive things like that, and this is one of them, because I definitely rolled up, since it's so close to the beginning of the game, rolled up a character just to kill him. Like I didn't want him killed in my canon game, but I made a guy just to go kill him real quick to see what would happen, and got that sword. We can probably talk a little bit more about him when we do like our wrap up episode where we talk about memories and the like. Yeah, because that's kind of where he finishes out. Yeah. Or close to where he finishes out. And there might be more to him, but I don't know it necessarily. Like he seems pretty simple and on the page as far as kind of backstory. Jay, do you have any ideas about him that maybe we don't? Not necessarily insider information, but
deep to share that isn't already known or everybody isn't aware.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I'm like super into the Dark Souls. As soon as it launched, I'm super involved. I'm talking to everybody every day. I'm running over talking to the testers all the time and their theories. And then after the game launches and we get all those critical patches out, then like my job kind of pulls away, and I kind of try to slowly extract myself from the community. Not that I want to, but I just kind of have to by necessity. Yeah. Because I can't keep up with it every day, all day. I've to work on other games, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here to pull you back in. Like you think you think
great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you think you got out, buddy?
Like Michael Corleone.
Yeah, yeah. If you ever try to quit the community, it's like a gang disinitiation where you have to walk down a line where it's like us and Body and EMB, and we each get to hit you with a stick, and then if you make it to the end, you get out.
And I don't want to. I mean, we have DLC coming up. It's just unfortunately the necessity of the job.
Yeah.
Totally.
Love Dark Souls. I want to talk about it all day.
Yeah. My last thing about Benhart is because he is from the Kingdom of Jugo, he has my favorite nickname in the game, the Juice.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is a complete non sequitur, and I'm sorry to train wreck us into that. But if I ever refer to somebody as the Juice from now on, it's going to be referring to Benhart. Oh, yeah.
Sadly, Rosabeth doesn't get a nickname.
No,
because this is the chamber of NPCs without much backstory,
or with delightfully simple backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of cool because, you get the idea with like Lordran that is a sealed, forbidden kingdom that everybody is there on a mission, right? And that, to a certain extent, is true of Drangleic as well. I mean, people are drawn here, and it is like an incubator as you're waiting to go hollow. But the idea of people kind of gathering around Majula as this community, what is it? The achievement for getting everybody to
a gathering
Majula,
of outcasts.
A gathering of outcasts, and that feels so apt, especially for somebody like Rosabeth who has kind of a sad backstory, right? Like like weird, poignant moments in Dark Souls dialogue, I guess, that are like really resonant. But Rosabeth says it's a shame that the thing you're passionate about isn't the thing you're also good at. Referring to the fact that Carhillion, he's really only interested in sorcery, and he came here on the big bag boat looking to get closer to whatever is the essential essence of Drangleic in order to improve his craft. And he really looks down on Rosabeth for just really kind of just focusing on pyromancy, because it is still, at least to his mind, because he's kind of a jerk, a lesser form of cooking people, right?
Yeah. Sending them to Burning Man. And you also get the impression that he kind of ditched her here too. Like both the kind of setups with the two statue NPCs we run into, it's kind of interesting. Like, it's noteworthy that when we find Strayed, like the door isn't closed. Like, he wasn't turned into a statue inside a cell. We refer to him as imprisoned a lot, but that door, he's just imprisoned by a statue state. And Rosabeth here is either trying to escape in or out of this area we're talking about when she gets paralyzed.
Right.
So, and Carhillion is just like, well, fuck it, I'm out of it. I'm going to Pirate Town, and hey diddly dee.
It's a pirate's life for me.
Life for me, yeah. That's him. So it is kind of sad, and she has this kind of unblinking and kind of loyalty to him as well. That's a darling. Also, you get to dress her up however you like.
which is not using the Xanthus set. Come on.
Yeah. Yep.
A very interesting feature when I first came across it. Okay, I'll give her clothes. All right, that's it. You gave her clothes. Now move on.
Cool. It's just a nice gesture that you can perform.
No,
it's like funny because as a couple of us were playing through the office, like a couple weeks before the game came out, so much of this stuff, like that was just another thing that you came across. You're just like, oh well, classic From Software, whatever. And like some stuff we figured out later, like, oh, that's there because of this. But that's one of those like, nope, it's still just, it doesn't mean anything. You just give her some clothes, get an achievement, move on.
Yeah.
There's no like special clothes you can give her that anything like that.
Like some kind of weird cursed, corrupted set of armor that slowly turned her evil. Like,
can you give her the butterfly set so she becomes poisonous?
Oh, I don't know.
Man.
And then you just have this poison tower in Majula.
When I first heard about the butterfly set, I was like, that's a joke. You just made that up. That's not real. One of the testers came running over. It's like, dude.
I got to try that now. I gotta set it up.
That's probably about what, like 5 hours of work, something.
Oh no, less than that, I bet.
Yeah,
like if I do it in a game, I don't care about the butterfly set already. I just had to aesthetic up, Majula before I go to the Shaded Ruins.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, but you unfreeze her, and it's a remarkably fluid animation. It's kind of like Andre of Astora talking with his jaw. Once you notice it, you realize, oh, this is something totally customized. And when you see it here, like, wow, they probably mocapped that in a game where very little seems to be mocapped.
Yeah, it looks real good.
Yeah, but you open it up, and boy, howdy, is that a harsh introduction to the Shaded Woods.
Yeah, this ambush.
Yeah,
for sure.
An ambush opening up onto one of the least safe bonfires outside of Sinner's Rise.
Yeah, where it's like just in Basilisk Town.
Yep. It's a bonfire inside a basilisk. Have fun.
And so, like, and choosing Basilisk as an enemy to bring back from the first one is so smart because, like, I feel like that enemy, maybe more than almost any other enemy in Dark Souls 1, is so infamous.
Yeah.
If I hadn't had the kind of collective unconscious of the community when I started, like I also would have 1,000 paralyzation, petrify stories, and making cursed, like teasing you with what cursed meaning a different thing, so you have a sense of relief, like, oh, I've gotten cursed, it's not really a big deal, and then introducing basilisks that do this other effect.
Yeah,
like
cursing was scary, and I was freaking out the first time it happened to me in Dark Souls 2. It's like, oh, okay, it's not that big of a deal now.
Yeah, bring it on, man. Yeah, like you can go through this next area and just get cursed for days. Just let it happen.
Yeah, or just be maximum cursed by the time you walk in, and it doesn't even give you an effect.
Yeah. But you make it through this, and you have this kind of long foresty pathway with these goblins that are continuously setting up ambushes, throwing rocks, smacking you with ribcage clubs. It's not too bad, but kind of increasing numbers of enemies, kind of like a first area in the game where it's kind of teaching you to multitask.
Yep.
And then they get to these crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my favorite atmosphere bits in the game, honestly, and it may just be a residual kind of like memories of those first trailers that they showed of the chosen undead or whatever fighting those kind of shy guy looking knights in a forest that looked like this. I was kind of hoping that would still happen, and I'm in my heart of hearts hoping that they pop up in one of the DLCs. But yeah, like just that atmosphere of this autumnal wood. Even though not much happens here, there's a lot to look at, and there's a lot to kind of appreciate in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think that it's probably safe to say now, and I could be wrong because any information that we get, I mean, we're the publisher of the game, we don't make the game. Any information that we get is always, we're not sitting next to guys from Software talking about what they're going to do, like they would discuss that with us anyway. The shy guy looking guys, I mean, those were from like a long time ago. I think just like very early in the design process. And this is all speculation. I don't have my knowledge is secondhand. Because we wanted to do some promotions, like we had a group that wanted to make a live action video, and we wanted to like make figurines, and we wanted to do different stuff. So we kept on asking them, like, can we get that? Is that enemy going to be like kind of like, we were looking for like a Black Knight of Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
Like, well, what's a kind of iconic enemy that we can, not to spoil anything, we just want to do something with. And we kept on getting like pushback, like, design, we don't know about that. We don't really know about that guy. And I'm pretty sure they ended up turning into the mannequin masks.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure that's I'm almost 100% sure that's the new. Yeah.
The ones that pop up in Earthen Peak?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you guys talked about that in Earthen Peak, but it was crazy because we kept on asking for the mask, and we finally just got somebody said, "Oh, it's that they don't have a head now."
That's so funny. That's so good.
They don't have a head.
And that mask, the mannequin mask, is so derpy.
Yeah, it is.
It's hilarious.
But it's
yeah.
I like well, you could talk about Earthen Peak some other time. I like the lore there, but yeah, that's kind of a funny story. When people say like, "Oh, I hope it's going to come with DLC," I'm like, well, I wouldn't count on it.
Okay.
They just changed it into something completely different.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I mean,
salt the earth, take away the head.
Yeah.
I'd rather learn that now than September 22nd when I beat the Ivory King. Like, all hope is lost.
That could still happen, and we could just be wrong.
Look back on this and laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's just a big chest full of those masks.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Behind the Ivory King.
We get the information before everybody else does, but it's not like we. From Software's obviously in their game design, they're very they don't explain a lot, and that's that transfers into their work as well, like the way they design the game. Like they don't want to. Like soul memory. They didn't want to tell us the exact values. They're like, we don't want people to know, so we don't want to tell you. Yeah. And as working a publisher for them, like sometimes it can be frustrating, but that's like you really have to respect that they just want their design to be so close to their chests. Like they want a certain people to have a certain experience. And they don't want to ruin that for anybody. Mm-hmm. Like they're really worried early on about different mechanic spoilers and stuff. Like they just want people to figure stuff out on their own. So you really have to respect that.
Yeah, it's weird because they want to keep the box closed so people don't play with it. It's like, here, take this thing and have it as we give it to you. Don't rip it apart.
But everyone wants to rip it apart.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, totally. And it's interesting because that inevitably will happen, and it kind of creates this kind of cool curve. Like, when I first played Dark Souls 2, I went and tried to go into it as blind as possible, so all of that stuff was a mystery to me. And then, once I do that first version run through, and then I want all of the information possible. Right, I just want everything. So you got guys like Illusory Wall who are literally just data mining the game and finding the actual values of the stuff and finding cut content and swords and pieces of armor and meshes and models and stuff that didn't make it into the game. And it's just kind of this amazing, rising pressure and then just huge release that comes when it just all becomes available at the same time. It's super neat.
And it's crazy because I talk about this often, but in Dark Souls and Demon Souls and even Dark Souls 1 to an extent, I don't think there was as much expectation or hype or eyes on the game when it released. Like Dark Souls 1 came out and everyone was excited to play it, and then they played it and they're like, oh my god, there's so much more under the hood. And then people kind of slowly started to figure out everything. Dark Souls 2, I feel like before the game even released, everyone needed to know exactly how everything worked.
Yeah.
And some people there's definitely frustrations there. Like somebody's like, no, I just want to know how the game works. It's like, I understand that, but we don't know.
So do I, buddy.
I don't know exactly how soul memory works. Like you're just gonna have to go try it out.
The previews that I saw of Dark Souls 2 were some of the most mechanically focused pieces of game journalism I've ever read. Like stuff focusing on the way the health system works, like as opposed to other previews which are like, here are the scenarios you're going to hit. Like there was this pressure I saw in these to get that out there, to kind of like allay people's fears and get them prepared for the stuff that was changing.
Yeah,
you know.
and I think a lot of that reflects on the writers. Like, I think they feel a lot of pressure because they know it's a hardcore game, so they want to relay as many mechanical things as they can to kind of please their audience. But at the same time, like, story and like, you spend 2 hours with this game going in blind. What do you know about the story? You don't. You don't know jack shit.
Yeah.
Is it related? You don't want to say, "Oh, this definitely takes place in the same place Dark Souls 2 does," because well, you might be wrong. I don't know. Who knows?
Nobody does.
Nobody knows. Oh. So you can't really. It's hard to make like statements about the game because you know it's going to be picked apart and analyzed.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
But you proceed down this path, and you get to something that's kind of rare, which is a crossroads, right? Like an actual explicit crossroads. In fact, I believe that's what the bonfire is called. This whole time you've been going into these aqueducts, which are kind of reminiscent of, you know, the dark route, you know, everything that kind of extends out from the Undead Burg in that area. And you're in this kind of shrine-looking place with a defaced statue and some rings that really kind of evoke Firelink to me. To you know, to a certain extent, and that may just be, or is likely a coincidence, but it gives you an option of which way to go.
Left, kind of gives you an
right.
option.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can go left, right, or forward. Only one of them goes to a place you can get right now, but all of them take you to some kind of terminus, right?
Yeah, and like I said, this was one of the more interesting places when I first started playing the game, because I think I cleared Lost Sinner was my first Greater Soul, and then I went straight here. So I know there's other places I can go, and then I walk here, and there's multiple paths I can go. I just feel kind of not overwhelmed, but just kind of excited. Like the RPG gamer inside of me is like, "Ooh, hell yeah!" Like there's tons of places I can go.
Yeah. It's interesting because we recorded the responses episode already in advance of this, and that's something that our listeners picked up on as well, both for good and bad. Like some people really liked that and responded well to it, and some people did not like that and felt a little too overwhelmed by having the kind of myriad of options that came with this area, and that kind of carries through too, like into the next major area of it as well, which is not kind of a path, like it is a larger expanse to explore. But I think I'm more like you, where that kind of jazzes me up, you know?
Yeah. And I was just going in before I even got hands on the build, I was just hearing like development stories like, oh, it's maybe going to be delayed, or oh, we're working hard to make the deadlines. And I would just go to the testers like every day, like, how is the game? Is it big? Is it good? Are there different places to go? Like, I was legitimately nervous just because I knew there's high expectations across all fronts. Like, I was nervous about how big the game was going to be, and how I know we had talked a lot about branching paths, like different options, and I didn't know how true that was. So I was glad to hear there was. Once I saw those, I was like, okay, yeah, good. There's some time we can spend here.
Yeah, when Cole and I were both playing it, when it came out, and we're texting back and forth, that's something that I think we both picked up on as well, where like it just felt like the game just kept giving, you know, and having, you know, this was the first, you know, new Souls game that we had come into with the mindset of doing the show and everything. So just having new areas to explore, like I never really wanted that to end, you know. So every time I'd see a title card pop up with a new area, I would just get this kind of rush of like, oh yeah, you know, what secrets are here? Where is this going to go to? And I still get that. And that's one of the things that makes me really excited about the DLCs, is just, you know, kind of regardless of what content they end up having, like I just want more places to explore in this system and this engine with this kind of philosophy behind it.
Yeah. Like we didn't want it to end, and it never really seemed to, which that sounds negative when I say it out loud, but you know, it really did give us a lot to chew on. Like this is a gigantic game. And you know, just the idea that there are branches within branches within branches, without, you know, recognizing the fact that most of these kind of end in a dead end path. Like if you go left here, you get a great view of Drangleic Castle, and you can kind of go around and see the higher perspective on this forest path, but also fight the Flexile Sentry and then get up to the Shrine of Winter, which is, you know, just a wall that really just gives you a vague message saying, come back later.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's more than the other path, which literally just goes to a giant door. And also you can get the red tearstone ring there, and the Aldea's path, but it's not very good in this in the sequel. Like that's been changed quite a bit.
I never drew the connection, but the door to Aldea says produce the symbol of the king. That's remarkably similar to the door in Kingsfield 4.
Oh, sure. You have to be kingly to enter.
You must be more kingly.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't make that. I thought that, when we first ran into one of those doors, I thought we were operating under that assumption.
I'm convinced that somewhere down the line, From Software is going to release a book that's like, this is how all of our lores from all of our games fit together in one story.
Good.
Yeah.
And it'll be in Japanese only, and that'll be the end of me.
And not even like, oh, they kind of fit together. It's like, no, we're making the same. We're all working off the same timeline. Every game is. Yeah. Armored Core is just a million years in the future. It's fine.
Hopefully they do it better than Nintendo did with Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that embarrassment.
Or that Resident Evil book. Did you ever read that Resident Evil?
Oh, you mean the novels?
No. The compilation that's like.
Oh yeah, that one.
All the history thing. Like I bought that once and then found out later it was really rare and sold it for an obscene amount of money. And I was just like, this is a terrible book. Why do people want to buy this thing? Yeah. And then 3D Game.Heroes is like the grandfather telling a grandchild all of the story in storybook form at the end. So all of it turning into a Zelda clone.
Yes. But the path that you really need to go on is off to the right there, which is guarded or attended by Creighton the Wanderer, who I will call Creighton the Chameleon because I never notice him.
Yeah.
He always blends into the scenery. It's like fucking furniture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's sitting there because you've already interacted with him once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had to let him out of the jail.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So he's heading to this predetermined meeting place, which we'll talk about in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
To get his revenge, and he doesn't have anything to say. He's just mad.
Yeah. So angry.
But let's talk about Fog, and let's talk about these invisible warriors here.
Yeah.
I love the way that this looks and kind of feels like. I feel like if it had more options to get out, like almost if it had more secrets, I would like it a little bit less. Mm-hmm. Just because it'd become tedious to try to either clear out the ghosts or avoid them for that long. But because you just kind of have to make your way to the end, and there's so many, if you go, it's just a big circle, so you can get out. Like you're not going to get trapped in here. But it just gives this illusion of space. Again, just kind of going back to Zelda, to Hyrule Historia, of like at the Lost Woods. Like it just feels like it goes forever, and you're passing trees. There are no like set landmarks for you to know, to kind of gauge your space by. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. Once I wandered into this place and figured out what the game was, that there were invisible enemies, I immediately switched over to I'm just going to run as fast as I can through this. And that strategy served me very well because I eventually just learned to stick to the outer edge. And that's really where most of the interesting stuff is. There is stuff in the middle, and there is a benefit to fighting those invisible guys because it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But that was the big revelation for me. That, and also when you attack the trees, they scream.
And apparently they distract the enemies too. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I was thoroughly impressed by the way I entered and the way I walked, which was probably just to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hugged the wall. I was impressed by the amount of time until you ran into an enemy. It gave you just enough time to think, maybe there's not anything here. Until the first one jumps at you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you catch it out of the corner of your eye, you're so used to seeing phantoms from like other worlds.
Yes,
and that's kind of what these look like.
Yeah.
So until it's actually horning in on you, like this thing can actually see me, it's almost like a From Beyond moment. Like, like this thing that I can see can actually see me too. Shit.
Yeah. And also, like, again, the sound tip, that is the thing that gives them away, is because even though they are invisible, they're not, inaudible. So they're going to, and again, you're not going to get them in time to stop them from backstabbing you and killing you, but it's going to be enough to let you learn how to avoid them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been reaching and stretching to try and find any kind of lore significance to them, and the only answer I can find is very unsatisfying, which is, ooh, these are probably people who died during some kind of battle outside of Drangleic because of the proximity. Like that is literally the only thing I can think of.
Well,
I heard somebody make the connection, and this is whatever a stretch, and how much truth to it, who knows, but they said it felt like it was a connection to the forest from Dark Souls 1, whatever that forest is called. I forget now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's Darkroot, and those people represent the invaders who were just always stuck there, always trying to invade, trying to kill their people.
Mm. Yeah, it's a definite parallel between those two areas.
Yeah,
to my knowledge.
Like the D&D party from Darkroot. That would make sense as a thing, huh?
Okay, so is the Shaded Woods Darkroot? Discuss.
I don't think so, but I can't say for sure.
Proof, damn it!
I have no proof.
Specificity is the soul of narrative.
That is true. Detail is the soul of narrative. You don't actually need proof of the thing. But it would make sense that to your idea, Cole, that it's the ghost from this battle because Vengarl is here.
Yeah.
And we know that he was a mercenary and he, at one point was working for Vendrick.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this again, Dark Souls 2 is funny, whereas Dark Souls 1 is not very funny. Vengarl is awesome. Like, I love this, like, get away from me. I have no time for you.
I'm a loner Dottie, a rebel.
I love Vengarl.
And then all of a sudden, like, actually, now that I'm flapping his little lips, it's kind of nice. How's it going?
I've gone from mercenary to conversationalist.
Yeah. Mercenary to mirthful in just a couple steps.
Mirthy. Yeah. It's a and he's great. Like he gives you a little history lesson and says, yeah, you know what? I was killed in this battle, and when I woke up, I was in this sorry state. But it's kind of peaceful, and I get to contemplate the finer things and remember nice things about being a whole person.
Yeah, things I take for granted. Yeah. He's talking directly to the player.
Yeah,
like, don't take your limb, don't take your torso for granted.
I'm just picturing somebody like getting a torsectomy.
Yeah, it's like that HR Giger thing we were talking about.
Oh
before. Yeah,
that'll be in the appendix. Or just I got that Rayman surgery.
Yeah, give me a Rayman.
Yeah,
free Ray-Bans with Ray-Ban. How awesome would it be if you could take Vengarl with you and hold him like the skull lanterns from Dark Souls 1?
Oh, shit.
Like he's just a head.
And if he exposed lore?
And he gives you hints like Zelda, like the fairy.
Hey, not quite like down that. Here. Look, listen.
Yeah. Listen, I have no time for you. Shut up. I know.
Wow, when I was here, there was a Kroger on that corner. Like, dude, stop talking about the way things were.
Yeah, I know.
Many Krogers have risen and fallen in this land.
This check into cash used to be a Pizza Hut. If you look carefully, you can see the lower details that show.
You can see the roof. The red tile roof tells it every time.
Yeah. In a way, every one of our hometowns is like a Lordran or a Drangleic that's been
really what Dark Souls is all about.
Yeah, you can't go home again.
It's about like multi-use real estate.
Yeah, it's about McMinimans.
Yeah. Also, Vengarl gives you my favorite gesture in the game.
Oh yeah,
the decapitate, which. Like just one of like my favorite invaders are always the people who point directly at me and then do that.
Yeah.
As I'm about ready to go.
You. Yeah, I gotta get that for when I make my skeleton lord, my skeleton scion, skeleton squire thing, so I can be threatening to the people who I'm purporting to help.
As we mentioned at the beginning, this week's episode is brought to you by Pete Ellison, a designer and DJ who is running a Kickstarter for hand screen-printed cute t-shirts. that's going to be running here, let's say towards the end, or ending towards the end of the month.
Yeah. I mean, you probably just barely got time at the, you got about a week. Can you actually put in a marker? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking we were an extra sode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got about a week or so to support the Kickstarter, and head up there if you want to see what he's about. If you go to his website, which is www.heyitspete.com, you can check out some of his music. You can check out his other art, his other T-shirts he has, and it's all super adorable and kind of like video game spacey, really bright colors. It's a really, really nice aesthetic, and he's got this. It's a fairly modest goal for this Kickstarter, and there's no reason why he shouldn't make it, and there's no reason why you shouldn't get one of these amazing, super cool T-shirts to wear over your torso front. So,
is it a smock, Gary?
Yeah, cover your torso front, people.
the back, that's A-okay.
Yeah, the shirts. There's a stretch goal to get backs for the shirts. So, but we want him to hit that because I can't speak for Kole, but some of us full-figured gentlemen have unsightly backs, and I don't want anyone to see that hairy morass of failure and swole. So
so check out his Kickstarter and help us not see Gary's back.
Have his back, and as a way of not having mine. Yeah, so you make it into this next area, the fog clears, and you're in the Shaded Ruins, which again is kind of a neat, unique-looking area for Dark Souls. This kind of like grown-over Indiana Jones temple area, almost like wide, crumbling structures. Some kind of town or living situation here.
Yeah, it's a very literal definition of ruins as well, because you're seeing just the foundations of most of these places, right? Yeah. Like this used to be a town, a dwelling. For lion men. Yeah,
these guys who we don't know a lot about them, like looking at their equipment. They hate being seen, and they're not savages. Like they have, if you get their axe, it says something like, the craftsmanship shows that these things are more than just beasts.
Mm-hmm.
They do have infinite poise, though, so...
Yeah, that's frustrating.
The monsters.
They've mastered the technology of infinite poise. It's got rings for miles. And they're also like a huge man. If you are playing a caster, good fucking luck, because these guys, magic resistance is through the roof.
Yeah, they will chew through your stock like crazy.
Yeah,
and also they inflict curse.
Yeah, they have curse axes.
Yeah, I think the thing that leads people to believe that they are constructs by Aldea is the fact that in most of their equipment descriptions it says they just kind of popped up in history for some reason.
Yeah.
But there's also the notion that like that also happens with stuff that comes up from underground too.
Yeah. Maybe they were displaced by the Gurm or something like that.
Yeah.
And that would maybe give a little bit, because we were talking about in the bonus episode why this area is next to the Doors of Pharos. Mm-hmm. And that could make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but these guys are huge sponges. I think in my initial playthrough, this was the biggest wall that I hit. The closest I could compare it to would be like 2-2 or 2-1, just with the way that the resistances were rolled up on those, and kind of really force you to vary up your strategy. And even something as simple as taking out a dagger or a club or something like that and getting backstabs on these guys is a tremendous help. But the only problem is, much like the curse pots that you're going to find, they are positioned in such a way that they will always call for help.
Yeah, they cover each other. Let's talk curse pots for a minute. This place is full, full of these giggling monstrosities. Which like it does, like they cover, like when you say they cover each other, they do it so well. Like you smash one and your meter's still going up, and it's like, what the hell is going on? And like they hide them; they're on different planes of elevation, above and below you. Figuring out kind of an optimal path to get through these and actually smash what you need to smash is really kind of a challenge.
Yeah.
Here
around corners too, like blind corners, like they always manage to hide them in a place, and again making reference to this appendix that we recorded, they cover each other like the spitting poison statues in the gutter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're very mindfully placed in order to create complications for you as you're trying to wander through what looks to be an open area.
Right. And fighting these Lion Clan warriors, which, have this infinite poise. You can't stun lock them. You have to be able to avoid their attacks. Mobility is your only option, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do a lot of poise damage to you as well. Like, they hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then when you exit this area and look around, there's a gigantic basilisk. Like, you're right. Which is, the size of a house.
Bigger than houses. There's one right there for scale.
Yeah.
And I guess this isn't the first time you ran to curse spots, but for me, the way I went, it might have been the first time I ran to curse spots.
Yeah.
There's just a weird mechanic that you don't really think about right away. The first time you walk up to him, it's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
There's a meter, and it's filling up very fast. I know that's bad.
Yeah, but what kind of bad?
Yeah. What was your strategy for dealing with them, Jay?
I probably moved away and tried to move back. And then I don't think at first I understood that you could just break them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I just tried to move around them.
Yeah.
And then when I broke one, I was like, oh, okay, that's a lot. I think it might have been the first time I got cursed in this game, too.
Yeah. And then that kind of sigh of relief from that. Too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
I was like, okay, they're not so bad. But still, I feel like I'm losing, my max health.
Yeah.
And then that giant basilisk, who doesn't really do anything, is up there.
He's so passive until you attack him. And like one of the smart things they did with bringing the basilisk back, other than just kind of supersizing them, is giving them different attacks, because the Dark Souls 1 basilisk will only kind of run up to you and jump at you and stuff. These ones actually have melee attacks. So, you can't just kind of circle strafe him and kill him, because he'll smack you with his tail. And this guy can, at the most points where I've got to this area, he can one-shot me.
Yeah.
So, worth killing, though. I think you get a petrified dragon bone.
Yes, you do.
Killing him?
Ooh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, which is pretty good. And also Aldia connection with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely where this guy came from.
Yeah. Yeah, so. And up around him, if you're not careful as you're trying to circle him, you're going to fall into a false floor and into a cave network full of other basilisks, in case you thought that all of them had been, in a King Kong-esque fashion, evolved to a larger size. Nope, they're down here and they're living in a cave full of acid.
Yep, corrosion cave. Which, like, if you we'll talk a little bit about fragrant branches of yore and how we're using them in this area. But if you use them a specific way and you get this key, which you have no way to know this is going to be something you're going to want.
Right.
Like, I feel like the guy who had this key maybe should have been closer to this area.
Yeah.
So it just didn't feel like, the guy who had the Fang key is just on the other side of the map. Why is that? But you can unlock artifacts here.
Yeah, it's weird because like the guy who has that key is like on the way out, but it's not an enemy that you have to unfreeze in order to progress. So you think, okay, I'll just avoid that trouble by going around. So just by going in here, seeing that there's a locked door, and then hitting it on the way back out, like it's encouraging this weird kind of circulation through the area that I think it's decentralized design kind of encourages, right?
Yeah,
but you're right. Like maybe he could be leaning up against the door or something,
or near a basilisk. Because presumably everyone who's paralyzed, that's how they got paralyzed.
Yeah,
or petrified rather. So he's just kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Okay, so you saying that actually shook something loose in me, which is where are these basilisks coming from?
Out of the giant basilisk's vagina.
Okay.
So
maybe that would make a lot of sense.
That does.
That protecting his young.
Huh.
Like squatting over that pit, and that's a little brood-like pit.
Oh, and that's not acid. That's just basilisk lady stuff.
Yeah, just baby cheese.
Yeah,
that is a surprisingly concise and intuitive explanation for all that.
So yeah, this giant basilisk wanders down from Aldius and is like, yeah, this is going to be a place for me to deposit my brood.
So when you get to Drang Lake Castle, and there's that giant pool of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's just some poor, Dragon Shrine guy who's just the basilisk scraper. So he just has to hook up the device.
Well, also, the Dragon Shrine has all those statues that come to life on the side before you get to the Mirror Knight. Oh, guys, it's all making sense. This is better than the Channelers. Wheels within wheels, gentlemen.
You can actually imagine, if you think of the giant basilisk as giving birth like a giant sea turtle, you can imagine him kind of scraping away the ground and creating this pit, and then covering it with like debris.
Oh yeah, because it's like planks.
Yeah, like almost like a sea turtle. Yeah. So,
Huh. Yeah, but you were trying to take us to Ornifex.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that took us down that road.
I figure, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about Ornifex in the next area.
Yeah.
When she actually sets up shop. But
this is one of the biggest holy shit moments in the game for me.
Yeah. This area is full of that with the giant basilisk. And then with when I first discovered, the secret of Man Scorpion Tark as well. That was a big
man.
deal. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite NPC revelations in the game.
So yeah, super, super good. But this Ornifex, who's one of the Velka servants, like a crow lady, who somehow got her smithing skills from, presumably Seath.
Yeah.
Which doesn't, like, there's another place where the lore of the different gods of Dark Souls 1 crisscross in this area, and it's when we talk about Tark, where I think it's more of that kind of history corrupting knowledge, or time corrupting history, I guess, or however you want to put it, where people kind of lose the thread and history gets mixed up. So I wonder how reliable that is.
Yeah,
that she actually learned from Seath.
I would have to look at the actual specific language of it, but could that knowledge have been attributed to Seath and passed down, or is she claiming to have learned it directly from him?
Yeah,
like that is a more tenuous connection than Tark, who pretty much says, "Yeah, we were made out of clay by this dude."
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about like Tark, so like Ornifex relocates. We'll talk about her a little bit more next episode. But the Tark. So when you find Tark, and we'll just to not totally lose that plot. He says that more or less implies really strongly they were made by Seath. He also says something about long ago there was another one of our kind that was fused to a spider, which is clearly, referencing Quelaag, but Quelaag was all demoned up.
Yeah.
Like that had to do with, a totally different branch of the Soulsiverse. Like that had to do with trying to recreate the first flame, turning people into that. It had nothing to do with Seath's experiments. Yeah. Seath's experiments, weren't fusing people. It was creating, mimosas or pasakas or whatever they're called.
Mimosas.
I've created a brunch drink that will live the test of time.
Yes, to fight the demonic screwdrivers.
Yeah. But it's those two things, like him saying like, Quelaag was a thing just like us, and also we are made by Seath, seem contradictory to me in a way that like one of those things seems untrue.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the possibility, is this the same Seath? I don't know. With everything being cyclical, I like the idea of Seath kind of seeing what happened with the experiment that the Witch of Izalith did. Saying like, oh yeah, that like crazily fused people. Maybe there's something I could learn from that in a weird parallel to what happens with Aldea and trying to experiment with fusing undead and dragons and stuff. Right? Like this could have been some kind of evolutionary dead end that he abandoned. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, just he had no reverence for nature, so he was like, okay, is there something else I can pervert? Okay, yeah, let's do that.
It's just different, like the I mean, I don't think it's the same Seath. I think it's the Duke with Seath corrupted by Seathness.
Yeah,
but like they just come from different spots. Like one being the kind of science side of Dark Souls, and one being the nature, terrible fecundity of nature side of Dark Souls.
It's very clearly order versus chaos. Or explicitly,
exactly.
Yeah.
And like having them exist and kind of contrast in this dialogue is really confusing to me. Like, and he didn't, the second bit where he references Quelaag, I didn't get right away. It's kind of deep into a dialogue tree. Like he maybe only mentions it after you kill the Duke's dear Freya. But yeah.
Yeah. That is actually totally the case.
Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting. Like I don't really know how to justify those two things. But the way he's a cool character.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, and it also works very similar to at least the Fair Lady, right? You have to buy the Whisper Ring from Sweet Shalcor, which makes this area a lot creepier too as you're walking around because you hear.
Yeah, I very much like the idea, and I choose to believe that is Tarkus in a different world.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. Like kind of because of the plates on his exoskeleton or what have you.
Yeah.
That he fell not too far away from where the Duke's Archives was experimented upon. Or is like a reborn, like there's the 4 great souls, and then there's one tiny little soul, and if you find this little tiny side soul, you get reborn into Tark.
You just really like, I feel like going out and buying some armor. Yeah. I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing. Something you just get you get a craving for like strawberries or something. I just want to
Castle.
Just like gird my loins and.
And Tark is also one of the most lovable characters of Dark Souls 1. So.
Yeah, Tarkus is amazing.
Yeah.
And if that's true, if that was intentional, kind of how shitty Man Scorpion Tark is in this fight is another from being willfully, like, the character that could solo the boss for you in the first one. Well, here he is, and he sucks his, like, in what world does turning a warrior into a half scorpion make him worse? It's like a way to improve almost anyone.
Like a realistic one. Like if I immediately gave you like claws and also like 10 extra legs, would you know what to do with them?
Huh? Oh, would I? Direct you to my blog. Yeah. Clawblog.tumblr.blog.
Yeah. .guru.
Yeah.
Really utilizing those new TLDs. Yeah. No, I was going to go stupid like the human scorpion, but that is barely even a joke. So it is past 1 o'clock here.
Yeah. It's late for Kole. So everyone be gentle to him.
If I sound loopy, please don't sound off in the comments.
The Ring of Whispers, it's I'm surprised that you don't use the Ring of Whispers for anything else.
Yeah.
Like I really want that to be a thing too, and I'm going to take that to every NPC in every area in the DLC, just because I want there to be something for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good dude. Like he wants you to kill his betrothed. Which I love that they're not just like beloved. Like I think he used betrothed specifically, which means they're engaged. Which is like, what organization is this? How are you getting engaged in this world?
Very soon.
Yeah. There's no churches. Like they're like, I am registered at Cursed Pottery Barn.
Okay, just dip your tail into this inkwell and then sign the contract.
Yeah, like he gives her the ring, and it's the second soldier's ring, and it's just like, endure my love, 10% more.
And then she gives him the Chloranthy ring and says, "You could probably do better."
Yeah,
in the stamina department. Like, honey, we just wrote the weirdest episode of King of Queens.
Najka. In my most recent games, I've been killing Man Scorpion Tark when I first run into him to get that ring. Yeah. And also because he's actually an interesting NPC fight, which doesn't happen that often, but he has like, a bunch of different kind of weird sand scuttling moves.
Yeah, I definitely fought him my first time. I killed everybody my first time through.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense because he is in that sandy kind of room. So like can you elaborate on the sand scuttliness of it?
He has kind of a scuttle charge that he does. Like he kind of flexes up and then scoots across the ground at you really fast, which is a unique attack. Like he doesn't do it to Najka, and I've never seen it. It's only if you aggro him that he does that. So, yeah. And then lots of spears.
Yeah.
So.
I guess he is. Yeah, sorcery. The fact that they use sorcery also Seath connection, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't use sorcery.
Oh.
But Najka can.
Okay. Yeah.
So real quick before we get to, we're almost to Najka, but just and we're not going to totally talk about this, but this is the second location we found for Dark Diver.
Yeah.
And this one is one of the more, they're all very hidden, but this one is also extremely hidden.
Yeah. It's also frustrating because if you don't fall into the right hole, you can see it, but you can't get to it because it's kind of up on a ledge inside the birthing pit.
Yeah.
Yes. The birthing pit.
Yeah. The smell in that birthing pit.
Oh God.
Yeah. That's why Dark Diver's hanging out there.
Yes.
A firecracker went up my nose, and I can no longer smell. A fire hex. But we're going to talk about Dark Diving and the Pilgrims of the Abyss are going to get their own be part of a episode of extra stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll get to talk about the best boss fight in the game. This is not the best boss fight of the game. You climb this hill to get to Najka, which I like, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's
B-.
Yeah, like I said, I did a different order, so this was pretty early for me. So this was one of the holy shit moments for me. Like, I was texting my buddy and we were making our way through, and I got through the Lost Center, then I came straight here, and it was pretty normal, I'd say, so far. And then I walked in, and there was a giant scorpion that had homing missiles or homing soul masses that was charging at me and killed me like instantly. And I was like, oh my god, this is definitely I definitely have to find a different way to go. In retrospect, going back, she wasn't that difficult, and it wasn't that exciting. But first time was a holy shit moment for me.
I guess maybe I'm inured to it because this is kind of on the face of it one of the harder branches. So I was discouraged from this whole area quicker than you were, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she wasn't the wall. Like by the time I felt I was equipped to get past the lion guys or get through the fog or whatever, I was more than able and willing to take out Najka, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the magic is really the threat here with her, and her intro where she's half buried. I really like that, and does the spell against you. And if you can't get out of the way of that, like it's really easy to get stun locked in multiple hits. From both of her magic attacks.
And once you learn to stand on the stones, then it's ultra easy. It's like a Zelda fight.
That's exactly what it is. And I did not get that my first playthrough.
No.
Yeah. It's fun to sunbro here and show people that.
Yes.
Like go over to that and do like the shrug animation until they join you. And then,
Just shrug, decapitate, shrug, decapitate.
Yeah. Once I figured out how to just bait out her pincer attacks, then it was really easy after that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's interesting about her is that the pincer attacks, you can when you attack those, her tail takes very little damage, and you can cut off her tail, but you don't want to. Like you want her to do the pincer attack and then go around, because if she loses her tails, she does like way more sorcery. And way more spear attacks, which are still really telegraphed, but a little bit harder to dodge. So it's all about getting her to do the tail attack and then running around to the side while she's recovering from it.
And I don't remember if I ever found out how to pick up the item that's hanging on the tree up there. You just get her to run into that?
It's just luck. You just play Toro with her until it gets knocked down. And it's just a bunch of flame butterflies, which are, valuable in their own right. Like they're not super common, but
a bit of a letdown after all the work you did.
I mean, just for the idea that they are something that could be lost forever, I'm kind of happy it's something not consequential. But because it is so hard to do, it would have been nice if it was something with a little bit more oomph, like maybe some human effigies or something.
And it also is a little disappointing that cutting off her tails isn't giving you anything.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, tail weapons is something I definitely miss.
Yeah, tail weapons was awesome.
Yeah. I don't think we explicitly said that you can summon Tark for this fight, which is the first time that you can summon a non-humanoid enemy to help you with one of these things, which is pretty neat, and he's just so bad. Like he just does so little damage. Like I've had him survive the fight.
It fits him with the lore. He's very sad to be doing all that damage.
Yep, he is a reduced man.
Spouse aside. Yeah. But he is useful to a certain extent. When she burrows, she can't burrow under him, so you can actually hide behind him as kind of a shield. So he's more of a defensive companion than offensive, right? Whereas most of the NPCs you summon are either getting their attention or doing damage for you. In the case of the case of some of the caster ones you find, that is kind of his secret hidden use.
Yeah, and he does a good job of getting her attention. He just doesn't do very much damage and dies quickly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's Najka. She's kind of like a mini boss. It almost feels like she's not. She doesn't seem that substantial. But I could definitely see if you come here a little bit earlier, like all the bosses can be hard if you sequence break them.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Is there another boss that kind of has as explicit of a connection? I'm really in a bad way right now, so I can't draw any to mind. But this is meant to echo and evoke Quelog, right?
Oh, the Authority, the Royal Rat.
Even that is more of a kind of an abstract mechanical comparison, to Capra, right? Like
not
just
the
the idea.
not to, no, that's not actually what I meant to boy, why is I'm also having the sleepsies.
I think he's talking about
Sif.
Sif.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like he fights just like Sif. It's like Sif without honor. Like if Sif brought friends and puked on you instead of like sword fighting you.
Yep.
That's what Authority the Royal Rat is.
Okay.
But I mean your point is still well taken. I mean Vengarl and the Royal Aegis. That's a really direct
that would
connection too.
Yeah.
So there are some, but it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I just, again, in an area that kind of feels like it's full of holy shit moments with Ornifex and with Tark's admission and everything, that like this is meant, it's a laser guided missile right at people who have played Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
In a way that some of the other places in the game don't feel explicitly that way. And also in a way that isn't, incredibly fan servicey, like, hey guys, remember this?
Yeah, it's not just full of zombie solaires or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
they're not trying to score cheap points, right?
Well, I would say that this kind of branches like that too, because Authority the Royal Rat is definitely evoking Sif, and then when we get to the Saldora, that is supposed to, that was the first visual area where I was like, oh shit, not maybe not the first, because I think I actually went here before I went to the gutter, where I was like, oh shit, like this is like they're excavating crystals here, like this is I thought that they were totally just excavating Seath's body. Yeah. 100% what the theory I was going through until I got there.
I mean, also isn't entirely inaccurate. It is inaccurate in its way. But
yeah. But yeah, could have a grain of truth. But this area does have a lot of like Dark Souls 1 things set up in contrast too, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I'd feel remiss if I didn't say the notion of standing on the stone in Najka's boss arena. Again, underlines the arenas really taking precedence in these boss fights. We're going to see that in Earthen Peak, but we've really said it a lot up till now, like in a much bigger way than Dark Souls 1. I've found.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Do we have any wrap up thoughts for these areas?
I personally do not. I'm excited and kind of dreading going to Saldora again because that is my white whale a little bit.
Yeah.
In terms of the area and in terms of the boss. With both the Royal Rat Authority and Freya. So like this is kind of a nice welcome reprieve to when I liked this branch unequivocally, and just filling me with dread about what's about to come up.
Jay? Filled with dread?
This not dread. This place, I'll always enjoy it. I never remember when I go back and play through. I never remember which way connects to which, and I'm never upset about that because it's like I said, it's mysterious. It's kind of in the middle. It's a fun little place and has some unique enemies, and I enjoyed that part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I agree. I'm with you as well. What I also have little to add that I didn't already say, but I'm looking forward to Saldora. Like I think that area is very interesting and didn't have quite as hard a time, but it was also super tough. So it was very memorable for me. Yeah. What are we doing next time, Cole?
Well, next time we are going into both Saldora, taking the necessary detour/tour through the Doors of Pharos. And fighting Authority the Royal Rat. I hope everybody gets that joke. Can you put that video in the show notes once again?
I've done it twice now.
I know.
Like I don't. It's getting close to that. Yeah, I'm no longer putting it in anymore.
Pre-tape call-in show. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. Those videos are made by the guys who do the who make the service that I keep track of my game collection on.
I had no idea. I love those videos. Do you watch the Shovel Knight one?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's great. Those things are awesome. Have you seen these things, Jay? Like they're on YouTube. It's these people who do fake '90s tip videos for modern games.
No,
I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
and then I will put it in the show notes. It's very funny.
Yeah. But we're going there. We don't have a guest pinned down just yet, but keep an eye on Facebook for that particular announcement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Jay, I want to just thank you again for joining us. Yeah. Where can people find you online?
I'm on Twitter all day, every day, because I do that sort of thing. It's at JKARTJE, and I'm also the man with the plan behind the Dark Souls Facebook. So I'm on there watching your rants and raves, and I'm on Dark Souls 2 subreddit mostly lurking, hoping that you're not being too mean to each other. But thank you very much for having me. This is fun.
Yeah. Oh, but my pleasure.
Yeah.
Like, I was really happy to be able to do it, and really happy to meet you and have you on.
Yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, so just we let Jay go to do our admin stuff, just so you guys have to listen to this, but he doesn't have to. He's the community manager of Bandai Namco.
He's earned that privilege.
Yeah. So what can people do, Cole?
Well, people can check us out on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/bonfiresidechat. And on that social tip, you can also tell a friend. Dark Souls is a very evangelical game, and you're probably trying to goad people into playing. Say, hey, we've got these buddies that you can listen to. They get people on to talk about stuff in depth. Play along. It is there in perpetuity throughout the universe for you to enjoy. So that is a huge way to help us grow.
Yeah. If you want to support us directly, you can go to Duckfeed.tv/tipjar. There's an Amazon referral link there. Mm-hmm. And you can also find a link to our Patreon campaign where you can kick us a couple bucks a month, get the shows early, participate in our live stream, which has proven 2 times in a row now to be a super fun time.
Yeah.
And lots of other cool rewards.
Yeah. Also, I am holding on to this month's postcards. They're great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
The
in addition to the tip jar thing, we've added the United Kingdom and Canada to that. So if you're in any of those regions, you can now participate in that. That is a great way to support the network. That is where we get a lot of our funding from. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's the same Amazon you always go to, and we get a kickback from it. So that is the way that works. I always want to make sure that the nature of that affiliate link is explicitly clear, because I don't want you to feel like you're getting duped into anything. That is the way it works.
It doesn't charge you like 10% extra or anything.
No.
It's just Amazon. It's just it's a little bit extra to go out of your way.
It's a finder's fee that Amazon pays out of their pocket,
exactly.
not yours.
Yep. Yeah. Amazon gives us a little bit of money for sending people their way.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Amazon? It's great.
Yeah.
See?
Well, that place cents. You're buying everything from anyway?
Yeah. Amazon awareness has never been higher.
Yeah.
I don't mean it, Mr. Amazon. Continue to give us referral money. Yeah.
Like he's our angry boss coming over to dinner. Yeah. Is Amazon Larry Tate in this situation, Gary?
Yep. Mr. Amazon, I'm sorry, Mr. Amazon. I didn't mean to tell him. I mean to tell him about you, Mr. Amazon. I swear. Yeah.
Are you turning into Gabriel Knight?
No, that was not Gabriel Knight. I mean, I am turning into Gabriel Knight. Every day I'm turning into Gabriel Knight, but that is not...
Every day you're knighting?
Every night I'm daying. And you can also go to Duckfeed.tv and check out other shows and such. I want to make a special note. If you like to read things, I have started a new blog called the Infinity Engineers. Infinity, I said Infinity. Boy, I shouldn't be this tired. I think I'm just catching it from you.
Yeah.
Or the mic. The Infinity Engineers, which is about old CRPGs. And I'm starting a in-depth, really, really slow, considered look at Baldur's Gate. Starting in a week.
Yeah.
And but you can check out the first entry and the kind of intro post for that.
Yeah, check it out. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. You should check it out, and you should also check out Hexcrank. There's a new Hexcrank coming.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's in edit. I basically what happens is I write every article in a let's say hour to 90 minutes of frenzied writing and formatting, and then I edit for days and days and days. So. That should be coming out sometime around the time this episode happens, and it's about Waxworks, which is a surprisingly bad / let's say pioneering game. I hate that word, but it definitely does apply. It forecasts a lot of stuff we're going to see in the survival horror genre, which is what Hexcrank is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do all those things.
Yeah, and also continue listening. Stick around. We really appreciate you guys. This is
do whatever you want. Like, this is just a play request.
Yeah.
Like, first, do no harm. Second, do whatever you want. 3, do all those supporting the show things we talked about. It's the tri-Hippocratic oath.
Oh, and check out the Kickstarter campaign that we mentioned at the beginning, which is headed by
Pete Ellison.
Yeah.
So if you go to www.heyitspete.com, you will see a link to that as well as the rest of his work. Really cool prints and T-shirts and such they sell, and cool music. So definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. Gary, I really want to go to bed, and I can't underline enough to everybody. Please take it easy on me if I said any inane bullshit.
You didn't say anything. You're being crazy. It was no big deal. It makes me wonder if, because you didn't seem any more like, I don't think you're usually inane. You don't seem that different than how you do normally, which makes me wonder like how you perceive yourself in normal episodes versus. Like, I think that says more about your self-perception than anything, because you didn't seem that off to me.
Okay.
Which is good. Like, that in one way is a compliment, but also the fact that you're so sensitive about it and feel like you were really off, like, probably says something.
I think that because my day has been 20 hours long so far, yeah, I think that my willpower dissolves, and as that goes down, so does my sensitivity to my horseshit go up. So
yeah, so you're in prime like brainwashing territory.
Yeah. Just I haven't had a lot of protein today. So
the leader is good. The leader is great. Surrender our will as of this date. All right.
Good night.
Well, let's get Kole. Let's get Kole to bed.
Okay.
Everybody say good night, Kole.
At once.
All right. And see. Umbasa.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon.
And also, along that tip, tell a friend as we are, continuing to mature this community. Holy shit, man. I am so sorry. My God. I am not on my game. All right.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel bad on my account.
Yeah.
Like we're almost done. Like definitely. I mean, it's like 10:30 for me. This is no big deal.
Yeah.
Just take the time you need to get through it. And
all right. Yeah.
okay.
So I'll take that.
Don't beat yourself up.
Yep.